There comes a time in life when you realize not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Some people were lessons, not lifetimes. And darling, if they walked away, let them. Because your spotlight isn't meant to shine on people who can't handle your glow. This is your era of focus, peace, and power. And it starts the moment you stop chasing and start choosing you. You know what's funny? We spend so much time trying to make people stay. We beg, we prove, we explain. But have you ever noticed the ones who truly see your worth never make you explain your value? They recognize it. Sometimes the universe removes people not to hurt you, but to protect you. They were distractions wrapped in charm. And you? You were too busy dimming your light just to keep their ego comfortable, but no more. When you start focusing on yourself, your growth, your peace, your passion, everything changes. You stop chasing closure. You stop needing validation. You stop bleeding energy into people who were never planning to stay. Letting go doesn't mean you're weak. It means you finally love yourself enough to stop fighting for what's not meant for you. Because real strength isn't in holding on. It's in moving forward without bitterness. So, start rebuilding yourself brick by brick. Read that book. Hit that gym. Start that dream. Let your silence speak louder than any explanation ever could. The right people will never make you feel like you have to shrink to be loved. They'll stand beside you while you rise. And the wrong ones, they'll fade. Naturally. Effortlessly. Beautifully. Don't chase them. Don't stalk their social media. Your story doesn't need them to be complete. You are the plot twist. You are the whole story. So when they leave, say this with grace. Thank you for teaching me what I won't accept anymore. And then walk away with your crown straight, your spirit unbroken, and your focus razor sharp. Because baby, you are not losing people. You are losing limitations. You are finding yourself again. And that's the most beautiful comeback story ever written. Letting go is growth, not loss. It sounds simple, doesn't it? But in reality, it's one of the hardest things we ever learn to do. Because letting go isn't just about people. It's about releasing versions of ourselves that existed in moments we can't return to. It's about unlearning attachments, expectations, and the illusions we built around people who were never meant to stay. The truth is, every ending is disguised as an opportunity for rebirth. Every goodbye holds the seed of a greater hello. Think about it. You don't grow when everything stays the same. You grow when you're stretched, challenged, and forced to rebuild. When you let go of what's no longer aligned, you make room for what's meant for your next chapter. But the reason most people fear letting go is because it feels like losing control. We hold on tightly to people, habits, and even pain because they're familiar. And familiarity, no matter how painful, feels safe. Imagine this, you're holding a rope and someone is pulling it away from you. The tighter you grip, the more it burns your hand. That's what holding on does. The pain doesn't come from losing the rope. It comes from refusing to release it. The moment you let go, the pain stops. Freedom begins. It's not weakness. It's wisdom. In daily life, we see this everywhere. Think of that friend who keeps holding on to a toxic relationship, believing that one more conversation, one more chance, one more apology will fix everything. But it never does. The more she gives, the more broken she feels. And when she finally walks away, crying, hurting, empty, she thinks she's lost everything. But months later, when her smile returns, when she sleeps peacefully, when her laughter feels real again, that's when she realizes she didn't lose anything. She found herself. Letting go is like cleaning out your closet. You take out the clothes you've outgrown, the ones that no longer fit your life. It's hard because some of them hold memories, your first date, your graduation, your happiest times. But no matter how beautiful those moments were, you can't keep wearing something that doesn't fit you anymore. Life is exactly like that. We outgrow people, places, dreams, and even emotions. Growth demands space, and sometimes letting go is the only way to make room for better things. Look around you. Every tree lets go of its leaves when the season changes. It doesn't cry over them. It doesn't hold them back. It trusts the process. It knows spring will bring new life. You too are allowed to shed. You're allowed to release. You're allowed to step into a new season without guilt, because you are not meant to bloom in the same soil forever. Think of someone who lost their job unexpectedly. At first it feels like the end. Anxiety, fear, uncertainty. But a few months later, that same person starts a business, finds a passion they'd forgotten, or discovers a purpose they never imagined. What looked like a loss was actually a redirection. Sometimes, life closes doors because you've already outgrown what's behind them. Or think of that moment when you finally unfollow someone you've been emotionally attached to. The ex, the fake friend, the person who once meant the world. You hover over the button, your heart pounding, you hesitate wondering, should I? But once you do, there's a strange silence, and then a peace you didn't expect. That's growth. That's the feeling of energy returning to you. Letting go isn't about forgetting. It's about learning. Every person who leaves teaches you something about love, patience, self-worth, and resilience. You learn who you are without them. You learn how strong you've become through the process. You learn that closure doesn't always come through words. Sometimes it comes through peace. Remember that time you kept checking your phone for a message that never came? You overanalyzed every silence, replayed every conversation, but one day, you just stopped. You didn't even notice when it happened. That's how healing begins. Quietly, slowly, beautifully. You don't force it, it flows. One day, the things that once broke you don't hurt anymore. One day, you stop looking back. That day, my friend, you've grown. Letting go is not losing something valuable. It's losing what was limiting your value. It's trading attachment for alignment. It's choosing peace over pressure, self-worth over self-sacrifice. It's standing in front of a mirror and saying, I deserve better, and truly believing it. Even in love, the purest, most powerful emotion, letting go can be the bravest act. Think of the person who loves someone deeply, but realizes the relationship is making them lose their identity. They could stay, they could keep trying, but instead they walk away. Not because they stopped loving, but because they started loving themselves more. That's not loss, that's evolution. Growth hurts because it asks you to move beyond comfort. It asks you to break the patterns that keep you small. It's choosing to heal when bitterness would be easier. It's waking up every day and deciding that your peace is not negotiable. In life, not everything you lose is a loss. Sometimes you lose friends and find clarity. You lose jobs and find purpose. You lose relationships and find freedom. You lose illusions and find truth. Every no that life gives you redirects you to a bigger yes. So, when you let go of someone, something, or even a version of yourself, remember, you are not breaking down, you are breaking free. You are not ending a story, you are turning a page. And the more you release, the lighter you become, because letting go doesn't take something from you. It gives something back. Your peace, your power, your freedom to grow beyond what you thought was possible. Your value isn't measured by who stays. It's measured by who you become after they leave. So many people spend their lives trying to be enough for others, enough to make them love us, enough to make them stay, enough to make them see our worth. But here's the truth, if someone walks away after seeing your heart, your effort, your loyalty, their departure says nothing about your value. It says everything about their capacity to recognize it. You cannot shrink yourself small enough to fit inside someone's limited vision of love. Your worth existed before they noticed it, and it remains long after they've gone. Think about this. You could be the kindest person, give your best energy, love deeply, and still be left behind. And when that happens, you start questioning yourself. What did I do wrong? Wasn't I enough? But no, it's not you. Some people leave because they were never meant to appreciate what you offer. They were meant to be chapters, not the entire story. You're blaming yourself for being too genuine in a world that rewards convenience over commitment. The problem isn't that you gave too much. It's that they knew how much you were worth and still chose less. Picture this in daily life. There's a girl who gives her all in relationship. She listens, supports, forgives, and stands beside her partner through every storm. But one day he leaves. No warning, no closure, just silence. For months, she blames herself. She replays every conversation, every moment, wondering what she could have done better. But years later, when she's thriving, glowing, and at peace, she realizes something powerful. He didn't leave because she wasn't enough. He left because he couldn't meet the level she was operating on. She was evolving, and he was comfortable staying the same. Her value was never lost, it was simply wasted in the wrong place. This happens in friendships too. You're always there when they need you, answering calls at 2 a.m., helping them move, celebrating their wins. But when it's your turn, they're nowhere to be found. You sit there wondering, am I asking for too much? No, you're not. You just gave your loyalty to people who only borrowed your energy without ever refilling it. Sometimes people leave when they can't keep benefiting from you. It's not rejection, it's revelation. Their absence is the universe's way of protecting you from one-sided connections. Even at work, this truth hits hard. You give your best, staying late, helping others, proving your dedication, but one day the company lets you go. You feel crushed, invisible, replaceable. But then, a few months later, you find a job that pays better, respects your talent, and values your contribution. You realize something you never saw before. Your worth was never determined by that one company, that one boss, or that one title. Your worth is in the work ethic, the passion, and the integrity you carry. What left your life was not your value, it was just a platform that couldn't hold your next level. It's easy to believe that if someone leaves, it means you weren't good enough. But think of a diamond. It doesn't lose its worth because someone drops it. It remains precious even when it's buried in dust. The same goes for you. Your shine doesn't depend on who recognizes it. Some people walk past diamonds their entire lives and never see their brilliance because they're too focused on pebbles. You can't force vision into the eyes that choose not to see. There's a mother who sacrifices her dreams to raise her children, pouring her soul into their happiness. Years later, when they grow distant or forget to appreciate her, she feels unseen. But her worth isn't in their gratitude. It's in every act of love she gave, every sleepless night, every sacrifice no one saw. Her value doesn't vanish because others forget it. It's written in the impact she left behind. Or think of a young artist painting from his heart, putting his emotions into every brushstroke. No one buys his art for years. People doubt him, laugh, dismiss his talent. But he keeps going. One day, his work gets discovered, and suddenly everyone calls him a genius. But the truth is, his worth didn't appear the day they recognized him. It was always there. Recognition just caught up with reality. Sometimes we tie our self-worth to relationships, approval, or attention. We think, if they love me, I must be worthy. If they leave, I must not be. But love, attention, and validation are not currencies of value. They're reflections of others' capacity to appreciate it. Your worth is constant. It doesn't increase when people praise you, and it doesn't decrease when they walk away. Let's be honest. People are unpredictable. They change, they grow apart, they lose interest. You can't control who stays, but you can control what you give your energy to. You can choose to stop begging for presence and start honoring your peace. When someone walks out, let them. You are not a place for temporary souls. You are a destination, not a detour. There's power in detachment. The kind where you say, I know my value, and if you can't see it, that's your loss. Not from arrogance, but from awareness, from the realization that your energy, your kindness, your love, those are gifts, not obligations. You are not chasing validation anymore, you are embodying it. You are the table, not the chair hoping to be chosen. When someone chooses to leave your life, it doesn't make you less valuable. It just means they were never equipped to journey with you to your next level. They were part of your evolution, not your destination. People come and go, but your worth remains untouched, unshaken, and undeniable. It's written in your character, your resilience, and your spirit that refuses to break no matter how many goodbyes you've survived. The power of focus is one of the most underrated yet life-changing forces you will ever master. In a world full of noise, distractions, and constant comparisons, the ability to focus has become a rare superpower. People talk about talent, luck, and timing, but none of those mean anything without focus, because focus is the bridge between dreams and results, between potential and power. When you learn to direct your energy toward one goal, one vision, one purpose, life starts aligning in ways you never imagined. Think about sunlight. When it spreads in all directions, it's warm, comforting, but not strong enough to burn anything. But when you concentrate that same light through a magnifying glass, it can set fire. That's exactly what focus does. It takes your scattered energy and turns it into unstoppable force. Most people don't fail because they lack strength. They fail because they're distracted. They spend half their life chasing everything and end up catching nothing. The truth is, focus demands discipline. It requires saying no to almost everything else so you can say a powerful yes to your vision. In daily life, look at a student preparing for exams. The ones who top aren't necessarily the most intelligent. They're the most focused. They don't scroll endlessly. They don't multitask between 10 things. They shut out the noise, set a schedule, and stick to it. While others chase motivation, they build habits. That's focus. The quiet, consistent commitment that turns ordinary into extraordinary. Or imagine an athlete. Every morning before the sun rises, they're out there training, not because it's easy, but because their focus is stronger than their comfort. They don't care about parties, distractions, or opinions. They have one vision, the finish line. When you're focused like that, sacrifices don't feel like losses, they feel like investments. That's the difference between people who talk about dreams and those who live them. Focus also means emotional control. It means not letting every setback throw you off track. Think of an entrepreneur building a business. They face rejection, failure, criticism, but they stay focused on the mission. Everyone around them might say, "It's not working, give up," but they don't. Because focus isn't about instant results, it's about long-term direction. They understand that storms don't break the focused. They shape them. Sometimes, the power of focus shows up in the smallest things, like when you decide to eat healthier, but temptation surrounds you. A table full of junk food, friends teasing you, that one slice of cake calling your name. Focus is what helps you smile and say, "No, I've got goals." Because you realize that discipline is just remembering what you really want. You're not rejecting the food. You're choosing your health. That's the beauty of focus. It's not about deprivation. It's about direction. In relationships, focus means choosing peace over drama. It's knowing when to stop chasing people who drain your energy. You don't fight for attention anymore because your focus has shifted inward. You're building yourself instead of begging for validation. You're investing your time where it grows, in your goals, your self-worth, your future. When you stop scattering your attention across people and problems that don't serve you, you rise. And when you rise, you realize focus was never about doing more. It was about doing less, better. There's a powerful example in everyday life. A gardener planting seeds. He doesn't dig up the soil every morning to check if the roots are growing. He waters them, nurtures them, trusts the process, and stays focused. Because he knows that results take time. That's how dreams work too. You can't plant your goals today and expect them to bloom tomorrow. You stay consistent. You show up daily. You trust your growth even when no one's clapping yet. That's the power of focus, faith in motion. We live in a generation that glorifies multitasking, being everywhere, doing everything all at once. But true growth happens when you choose depth over width. You can't dig 10 shallow holes and expect to find water. You dig one deep one with focus and eventually you hit the source. That's how success works. Stop dividing your attention between 100 half-hearted goals. Choose one. Commit. Give it your all, because energy flows where focus goes. There's a story of a young violinist who practiced for years in solitude. While others were out enjoying life, she spent hours perfecting every note. People mocked her, said she was wasting her youth, but years later she performed on world stages while those same voices sat in the audience applauding her. Focus doesn't need validation. It creates its own spotlight. Even in healing, focus is powerful. When you've been hurt, betrayed, or broken, your focus determines your comeback. You can focus on the pain, or you can focus on the lesson. You can keep replaying what broke you, or you can start rebuilding yourself. The wound may not be your fault, but the healing is your responsibility. And what you focus on expands. So if you focus on growth, peace, and strength, that's exactly what you'll create. Focus also demands patience. In a world addicted to instant gratification, focus teaches you the art of waiting. It reminds you that real success is slow, silent, and steady. Just like a sculptor shaping marble, every strike looks like nothing's changing, but with time, a masterpiece emerges. That's what happens when you stay committed to your process. You may not see results right away, but focus ensures progress even when it's invisible. Think about when you're learning to drive. In the beginning, you keep looking at every distraction, the rearview mirror, the radio, the pedestrians, and you panic. But the moment you focus on the road ahead, everything else fades. The car moves smoothly. Life works the same way. When your attention is scattered, anxiety takes over, but when your focus sharpens, clarity comes. You stop reacting and start responding. Focus is the key that unlocks mastery. Every expert, every leader, every successful person, they weren't born different. They trained their focus. They said no to distractions, to comfort, to doubt. They protected their energy like treasure. They understood that when you focus your mind, your life follows. Because focus isn't just about seeing clearly. It's about believing deeply. It's about knowing exactly what you want, even when the world tries to make you forget. Healing is the real glow up. Not the filters, not the designer clothes, not the social media highlights. It's the quiet transformation that happens when you decide to face your pain instead of running from it. Real glow isn't in your makeup, it's in your mindset. It's in that peace you feel after years of chaos. It's in that smile that no longer hides sadness. Healing isn't glamorous, but it's the most beautiful revolution you'll ever go through because it's the moment you take your power back. There's a time in everyone's life when they break, when someone hurts you, betrays you, or walks away, and it feels like your world collapses. You cry until your body gives up. You question your worth and you think you'll never recover. But here's the truth. Healing begins the moment you stop asking why me and start saying watch me. Watch me rebuild, watch me rise, watch me turn this pain into power. Because every scar you carry is proof that you survived something that was meant to destroy you. Think of a broken bone. When it heals, that spot becomes stronger than before. The same happens with your heart. When you heal, you don't just return to who you were. You become someone wiser, tougher, softer in the right ways, and unshakable in others. Healing teaches you boundaries. It teaches you how to protect your peace. It's not about forgetting what happened. It's about growing beyond it. Imagine a woman who gave everything to a relationship. She loved deeply, forgave endlessly, and believed promises that were never kept. When it ended, she thought she'd never feel whole again. But slowly, she started focusing on herself, reading, traveling, learning to sit alone without feeling lonely. She started dressing for herself, eating better, sleeping peacefully. Months later, she didn't just look different. She felt different. People said she was glowing. But it wasn't the makeup or the clothes. It was the healing. That's the glow up no one talks about. The one that shines from the inside. Or take the example of someone who loses a friend. Not to death, but to betrayal. You feel the knife of disappointment cut deep. You want revenge, you want answers. But then one day you realize your peace is louder than your anger. So, you stop talking about them. Stop stalking their life. And start living yours. You start healing. And one morning, you wake up and realize you no longer care. That's healing. When your heart stops racing at their name, when your mind stops replaying what went wrong, when you can think of them and feel nothing. That's your glow. Healing also happens in silence. You don't post about it. You don't announce it. You just start changing. You respond differently, you set boundaries, you protect your energy. People notice the difference. You've changed, they say. Yes, you have. Because pain made you wise, healing made you powerful. You no longer fight to be understood. You've learned that peace doesn't need an audience. In everyday life, healing shows up in small victories. Like the moment you stop explaining yourself to people who never cared to understand. Or when you finally delete that message draft you've been rewriting for weeks. Or when you go out alone, order your favorite meal, and genuinely enjoy your own company. Healing isn't one big moment. It's hundreds of tiny ones where you choose yourself over and over again. There's a young man who once based his confidence on attention. Every like, every comment, every compliment, that's where he found validation. But one day it all disappeared. No calls, no texts, no admiration. At first he panicked, but eventually he started focusing inward. He began working out, reading, improving his skills. Slowly his confidence shifted from what others thought of him to what he thought of himself. That's healing. That's what makes a man truly glow, self-respect. Healing doesn't mean you'll never feel pain again. It means you'll stop letting that pain control you. It's the art of acknowledging what broke you without becoming bitter. It's crying, then getting up and saying, I still choose love, but differently this time. It's learning that closure isn't an apology sometimes. Closure is accepting that you'll never understand and being at peace with that. Think about a mother who lost herself in taking care of everyone else. Her children, her husband, her home. One day she looks in the mirror and doesn't recognize herself. She's exhausted, unseen, forgotten, but instead of breaking, she starts healing. She begins taking walks alone, listening to her favorite music again, saying no when she needs to, remembering that she exists beyond her roles. Months later, her family notices something. She's lighter, happier, glowing. Healing brought her back home to herself. Sometimes healing means walking away. Not because you hate them, but because you finally love yourself enough to choose peace over chaos. Sometimes it means forgiving someone who never said sorry, just so you can sleep better at night. Sometimes it means forgiving yourself for trusting the wrong people, for staying too long, for not knowing better. Healing is messy, but it's sacred. It's crying one day and laughing the next. It's stumbling forward until your pain becomes your teacher. There's a reason healed people move differently. Their energy is calm. Their eyes are softer. They don't chase, they attract. They've learned that what's meant for them won't require losing themselves. That's why healing is the real glow up. Because it gives you something no money or makeup can buy. Peace. And when you have peace, you radiate differently. Look at nature. Even after a forest fire, the ground eventually heals and new trees grow stronger than before. That's what healing does to you. It burns what no longer serves you and gives you the courage to rebuild. The old version of you that tolerated disrespect and chaos can't survive the healing process. You shed it like dead skin and emerge with grace. Healing is power. It's the quiet confidence that says, I've been through hell, but I'm still standing. It's when you no longer seek revenge because you've outgrown the battle. It's when you walk away from everything that hurt you and still keep your heart kind. That's not weakness, that's mastery. Healing is not about becoming who you were before the pain. It's about becoming someone you've never been. Someone unshakably grounded in peace, purpose, and self-love. There comes a moment in life when you stop asking, A, why did this happen to me? E, and start whispering. A, thank you for showing me who I really am. D, because every storm that came to break you came to build you. Every ending that shattered you shaped you. Every person who left made space for the version of you that was waiting to be born. And that version, that healed, focused, fearless you, is unstoppable. You see, the greatest power you'll ever hold isn't control over others, it's control over yourself. It's waking up every morning, looking in the mirror and saying, A, I choose me, I choose peace, I choose progress. He, because when you focus on yourself, when you master your emotions, when you stop chasing what's temporary, you become magnetic. You become the storm and the calm within it. People will wonder how you're still standing after everything you've been through, but they won't understand. You didn't just survive, you evolved. You stopped waiting for closure, you stopped seeking validation, you stopped fighting for people who weren't meant to stay. You learned to walk alone, not out of pride, but out of purpose. Because solitude isn't loneliness, it's alignment. It's where you find your strength, your calling, your clarity. You see, the world doesn't reward the broken who beg for light. It rewards the broken who will become it a light. The ones who take pain and turn it into power. The ones who don't let rejection define them, but refine them. So, the next time life tests you, remember, diamonds are formed under pressure, not comfort. Don't curse the struggle, thank it, because it's shaping you into something priceless. When you stop chasing what's not meant for you, you create space for everything that is. You start attracting peace instead of drama, growth instead of gossip, and purpose instead of approval. That's when you finally understand your energy is currency. Spend it wisely. Don't give discounts to those who can't afford your worth. The moment you realize your value, you'll never beg for love, attention, or respect again. You were never too much. You were simply in spaces that were too small. You were never unworthy. You were just surrounded by people who couldn't see beyond your reflection. But you were born to stand out. You were built to rise, to shine, to lead. And the most powerful glow-up is when your peace becomes louder than your pain. So, let them talk. Let them doubt. Let them leave. Because while they're busy watching your past, you're busy building your future. You don't owe anyone an explanation for your healing, your focus, or your growth. You are allowed to reinvent yourself as many times as it takes to feel alive again. Don't be afraid to outgrow people, habits, or places that keep you small. You weren't born to fit in. You were born to evolve. As Priyanka Chopra once said, you don't try to squeeze into a glass slipper. Shatter the glass ceiling instead. You be the person who doesn't wait for permission to shine. Be the one who takes every scar and wears it like armor. Be the one who turns I can't into watch me. Because the world doesn't belong to those who never fall. It belongs to those who rise every single time they do. Your glow isn't in your looks, it's in your resilience. Your power isn't in your status, it's in your silence when chaos tries to break you. And your focus, that fierce, unshakable focus, will take you places that fear could never reach. Remember, it's not the noise that defines you, it's the consistency of your comeback. So walk with your head high, breathe deeply, forgive freely, love fearlessly, and most of all, trust yourself, because you are not who you were, you are who you fought to become. And that, right there, is the real masterpiece. Because at the end of the day, the most powerful words you will ever say to yourself are these. I didn't just survive. I transformed. And when you realize that, you don't chase the spotlight, you are become it. You are the proof that healing is power, focus is magic, and letting go is freedom. You are living, breathing evidence that no matter what broke you, your comeback will always be louder than your pain.